Let's just start off the podcast with that. We'll give you a little bit of exposure.
A little bit of exposure.
Georgie is about to post on social media. If you have not been following Champion Grind Soccer, go ahead and follow it. Georgie posts all the pictures of professional footballers wearing his grip socks, and you can get them on the website at championgrind.com. And use my code Javi10.
That hasn't been used in a
discount.
while, so you guys.
Georgie gives me a lot of crap because he says nobody uses my code, but deep down I know everyone's using my code.
Everyone.
Georgie's just not telling me because he doesn't want my head to get big.
Yes,
But everyone's
that
using
is
my code.
potentially true, potentially not.
If you go to championgrind.com, go ahead get yourself some grip socks. What's the deal?
Restocked.
Are we running any deals or anything? No, just restock.
I mean, we just restocked, but if you use Javi's code, you get 10% off, and we'll do buy one get one free.
Damn.
Buy one get one free.
What is this, Black Friday all of a sudden?
It's Black Friday all the time at
All right,
Champion
you
Grind.
heard it
baby.
here first, folks.
Buy
10% off.
10% and
buy
buy
one,
one
get
get
one
one free. Yep.
All right, but you got to use my code because if you don't use my code,
Yeah, then we'll never know.
You just
Also, in the notes section, after you do purchase one, make sure you let me know if you want a white sock or a black sock, because those are the two colors we got. So the free one, we'll need to know what color and then what size as well.
If
'cause
you
we have
don't,
two different sizes.
if you don't list anything, you'll just give them two of the same color.
Yeah, to the same color, same size.
Fair enough.
It's fairly simple.
All right. Well, the real reason why we're delaying the start of this podcast because there's not that much to talk about today, is there? Transfer world, at least. We'll get into some other stuff, but
Yeah, there really isn't that much to talk about. I mean, the main ones, Raheem Sterling, close to Chelsea.
and we talked about that last week as well.
yeah,
'cause we
we-
knew they wanted him.
Yeah, those, we're pretty much going to go over things we already talked about. There's nothing really too crazy.
Will Chelsea actually get all the deals that they try to hijack?
The hijackings, no.
No, the hijackings.
The
they won't get anymore,
hijackings, no. Like, they
but,
probably get Sterling.
speaking of hijacking, though, Barcelona's trying to hijack Chelsea and get Rafinha.
Yeah, I mean, Rafinha wants to go to Barca, as we
we
talked
said that.
about this last week
It's
as
just
well.
becoming more and more clear
Yeah,
as the talks go on. He's like stalling, right?
Sterling, he doesn't want to go to Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea's the second choice. Haven't heard anything about Arsenal at this point, so I don't know what Arsenal are
Well,
doing.
we got Gabriel Jesus official.
Yeah,
They posted pictures. He seems like he's happy there. He seems like he wants to be there.
I actually did see last season, in a certain month, he scored like 6 Premier League goals for Man City. And then there's a debate going on. Is he going to score 15 plus goals for Arsenal in this upcoming season?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, if he's going to start, he's going to play every game for
Yeah.
the most part. Like, he's going to be Arteta's main
Yeah,
guy.
he's got the relationship with Arteta because they were at Man City together, and I think that's the real reason why he wants to go to Arsenal, not because of anything else other than he knows Mikel. He knows that, and for a player like that, the biggest thing is playing time, and he wasn't going to get that at Manchester
Yeah.
City. So I'm sure in the talks with Mikel Arteta, he said, "You're going to play here. Like that's the goal. I already know who you are.
Mhm.
I've trained you. I've seen you play." And I think you could be a big part of our future. So that's probably why he wants to go, because it's guaranteed playing time in the Premier League in one of the top teams. So it's a good deal.
Yeah, I think 15 goals is pretty doable, being the main striker at
He'll
Arsenal.
be our lead goal scorer for sure. I think so.
Yeah, so if you're playing fantasy Premier League, get him on your team because he's going to be the main guy.
But that's it for Arsenal. Not much going on there. Chelsea, we already talked about the same deals. Ake, Sterling. Haven't heard anything yet on Zinchenko.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Zinchenko.
So not sure how that's
Yeah.
going.
Okay, 45 million.
I wouldn't pay 45. I mean, here's the thing. Nowadays, you pay 45 million for anyone. That's like the minimum of any name that's recognizable by the general public. But the guy hasn't been playing.
Yeah.
What is he? He played games in. He played games in all the extra competitions, maybe.
Yeah,
but
he was hurt as well. But so he started at Chelsea.
Yep.
He didn't get playing time there in the beginning. He left, went to Bournemouth,
Mm-hmm.
captain there, played really well. Went to City after Bournemouth relegated. Didn't play too much here and there, and then 45 mil back to Chelsea.
I mean, I think he'll be. We talked about it last time, but it's hard to judge whether he'll be good or not because he hasn't gotten playing time in a while.
Yeah, I like Ake. I think he's good.
I think
Is he Rudiger replacement type
negative
player? I don't know.
He's not going to replace him. I liked Rudiger, but I'm actually kind of surprised that Real Madrid wanted him.
He had an amazing year last year, but besides that,
Yeah, I'd bring Sergio Ramos back. Bring that man back. I don't care. He's 50 years old. You need that mentality. You need somebody with that mentality in the team.
He is.
Even if he gets a red card every other game.
It's crazy how him, Messi, on like I still can't believe that they're on the same team. That's just crazy to me.
But let me see what else is there. Oh, let's talk Manchester United because there's a little bit more movement in Manchester United. Eriksen going to Manchester United from Brentford.
Yeah, I like that. Good for him. Like, was it a 1 year? Was it exactly a year, 2 years ago? I don't even know exactly, but obviously the heart problem that he had on the field. I don't know exactly when it was, but then Inter terminated his contract 6 months after that. Then
to be fair, I know it seems like a little bit of a selfish thing to do, to just kind of terminate the guy's contract after that, but that's just the business of the sport. Like, as much as they appreciate him, and they weren't assholes about it, to be honest, but you have to, when you're playing for a club that big, if you're not playing, regardless of whether it was something that you could control or not, like, you can't, they're not going to just pay you to stay there because they like you.
But I mean, good for him. Like, came back, played for Brentford, did amazing.
You never hear of a story of a guy who that happens to and manages to not only play but continue playing at a high level. Yeah. Because you assumed that, first of all, you assumed he was never going to play again.
Yeah, that's what we all thought. He's done. That's it.
And then, who was he set to sign for? But they didn't want him because they were not going to let him play. I can't remember. Maybe it was Juve or one of those teams. But he was set to sign for a team, but he was not going to be allowed to play with the device that he's got implanted in his heart now. Yeah. So he couldn't go there. Yeah, so he couldn't go there. And then Brentford signed him. Yeah. Did really well at Brentford, and now he's got signed by Manchester United.
I mean, good for him. I mean, obviously Manchester United, one of the biggest teams in the world. Maybe pretty bad at the moment, but still, like, just the name Manchester United, huge. Yeah. And just to be able to play, like you said, in the Premier League after all that happening, like, that's mentally alone. Like, physically is one thing, but mentally and all that, like,
I liked him when he was at Tottenham. He was one of my favorite players at Tottenham. Yeah. I thought he was just a very, very smart, creative midfield player, good on the ball, really good service as well. And obviously when that happened to him at the Euros, first of all, watching that live was crazy. Yeah. I was like, everything in the world stopped at that moment, and everybody was tuning in. And fortunately for him, he made it out alive. But I think that's one of those cases that, like, you can't hate the guy. You can never hate the guy because of what he went through. So regardless if he's going to Manchester United and you hate Manchester United, you're just happy to see him still playing and still playing at a high level. Yeah, and so good for him.
Yeah, good for him and good for Manchester United. I think he's gonna do, fairly well. I don't know if he's gonna be able to change everything himself and all that, but I think he's a good player still at this age and coming back. Did amazing at Brentford last year. Obviously, he's gonna have a different role now in Manchester United, but
I just hope he gets the consistency that he had at Brentford. Yeah, because I think that's important. Because at Tottenham, towards the end, he wasn't getting that anymore. Yeah, and I think people were unsure of whether he was going to continue to play a high level. And then the Euros happened, and then fortunately Brentford gave him an opportunity. Yeah. So hopefully at a team like Manchester United, he can be consistent and get playing time and show people that he's just as good as he was back when he was playing with Tottenham in his best days. Yeah,
and Tottenham wanted him. There's like reports of Spurs, and it was between Spurs and Manchester United where he's going to go, but maybe Conte decided, I don't want to just bring him back. But I mean, good for him, good for Manchester United. I think he's gonna be a good signing.
That's the good news for Manchester United. Yeah. The bad news for Manchester United is your boy Ronaldo did not show up for preseason training, and he has said he is not going on their preseason trip. Yeah,
preseason trip. Officially, they announced it themselves. He's not gonna be there.
Officially, they said family issues.
Family issues, yeah. Personal issues, family issues.
What is it unofficially, Georgie? Tell me.
I just don't think he thinks Manchester United have done enough so far to do anything. Like, new coach, Eriksen's coming in. They just, brought in a left back. But is that really...
Well,
Pogba left.
First of all, let's say if he does actually have, like, family issues and stuff, fair enough. That's honestly a valid excuse. Yeah. But regardless of that, you just start thinking that he's, because of the season that they had last year and because of the type of person he is, does he really want to get towards the last years of his career playing for a team that he knows is not going to win any trophies?
Yeah. And I think he's such a competitor, right? Like you talk about competitors, he's top of the list of in any sport. But I just think is the ambition part of Manchester United. Like if they showed some sort of ambition and like, all right, they, they could lay out a plan for him and say, this is what we think we're going to do in the summer. Obviously, you're a main part of it. We want you to stay, and this is what we're going to do. And then he'd be like, okay, he can hop on board because he's a competitor. He loves Manchester United. He loves the fans. Obviously that's where he became who he is. And like I think he would stay if there was the ambition from the club themselves. But if he is there and he's like, okay, well, you guys are not really showing me that you care enough or you want to do all the things that, I want to do, then there's no point for him to stay. But so it's kind of like I can see why he would stay because getting Manchester United back to the top will be just like winning the Premier League or Champions League. Like that's like when Mourinho got second with Manchester United, he himself at that moment said, this is the best you're going to get. And this is like a huge achievement. Everybody laughed and then he left and they've been nothing since. So it just depends. I like their new coach. I don't know if he's going to be enough to change the culture. Like it's still fairly early. Who knows? They might pull out some crazy transfers and bring in some good players. But if you lose Ronaldo, man, like, and there's talks of him going to Chelsea, like first of all, I don't know. I don't think he's going to go to another Premier League team.
You think he'll leave? Go try a different league now?
Yeah,
well, he's done it. He's Germany.
I mean, he goes to Bayern Munich, and now it's like, all right, win the league.
But the thing about Ronaldo is, first of all, Bayern Munich's not going to want him. Yeah. Their sporting director already said that as much as they appreciate how good of a player he is, he doesn't fit into their model, which totally makes sense because Bayern doesn't care about the big names. Bayern cares about making sure that they're winning and they're getting the best team on the field. So for them, they're not looking at it from an advertising or marketing standpoint of, we can get Ronaldo. They're saying he might be a good player, but there's players out there that are going to be better for our future. So, and if he doesn't go to Bayern, it makes no sense for him to go to Germany because you're going to go with Borussia and finish second and probably still not really win anything and get beat by Bayern by 10, 15 points at the end of the season. If he goes to Italy, I mean,
I've heard Napoli mentioned in there, but
but Ronaldo, I feel like Ronaldo is one of those guys that he wants to stay at the top club wherever he's going.
Yeah.
And in the Premier League, it's a little different because you can say there's 3 or 4 clubs that are top clubs that you can go to. Any of the other leagues, there's one or two. There's 1 or 2 teams to choose from, and that's it. But he doesn't seem like one of those players that wants to go to teams that aren't going to compete for championships.
Yeah.
And I think the only logical option for Ronaldo, if he decides that he's done with Europe and he's done with that, he still wants to play, but he doesn't want to kind of be in the middle, is for him to go to the MLS and just still be the best player here. Probably win championships because he's going to take him to win championships. Yeah. But then again, just like some of these other guys, just enjoy the United States and enjoy the last couple years of his career.
So, looking at it, he's not going back to Real Madrid. At least,
correct.
I mean, I just don't see it. He's not going back to Juve or in Italy. I don't know if like Inter maybe Inter got Lukaku and like it doesn't really like. AC Milan got Zlatan up top and my man Origi.
And they just extended his contract again.
Yeah, so like where
you don't think he can go back to Madrid? I was thinking about it now that you just said it.
He could. I saw Napoli mentioned, Chelsea mentioned, Real Madrid mentioned, Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich came out and said no. I can see, Chelsea would be ideal fit technically, as in he stays in Premier League. He's in London, better life than Manchester. Still one of the top teams, a lot better than Manchester at the moment.
Yeah.
A good coach. Players around him that can,
I think he's got too much respect for Manchester United to go to another
that's
rival
what I think.
In the Premier League.
That's the problem. So
and that's why I feel like he's also left from country to country instead of just from team to team within the same league. So, and it's always easier to go to another team in the same league when you leave the country first and then you come back. Yeah. If he was to go from Manchester United straight to Chelsea,
his whole legacy.
Maybe not his whole legacy, but I do feel like he would feel, because of the respect he has for the club and for the respect he has for Sir Alex Ferguson, I think he would feel bad doing that. So,
But-
like, for example, if he was, and players have done this before, but if he was to go to, like, Barca, for example, which he's not going to, but if he
Mhm.
was to go to Barca, it's a lot better if he did it now than if he would have left Real
Yeah.
Madrid and gone to Barca.
Yeah.
So, if he decides to, and it's getting late in his career, but if he decides to go to a different country and then go to Chelsea, it's a lot easier of a move than it is to do
Yeah.
it right now. And that's just the way it is. But, so do you think for sure he's gone? You think he's done with Manchester United? Or do you think he's going to be, he's just waiting and then he's going
I
to
think he's just waiting a little bit,
See
being
what they-
patient, see
yeah.
what they do, what the plan is,
Yeah.
how they fare with the new coach, how everything kind of goes. But we didn't even think about this. What about PSG? Messi, Ronaldo.
Listen, he's not going to PSG. Here's the thing. They would take him.
That-
I think they would. Because they got all the money in the world, so they don't care about that. So they might take him.
Why not? Imagine he go to PSG. If I'm Ronaldo right now, I'm looking at it. So we just talked about all those teams, all those leagues. Germany, unless you're going to Bayern, there's no point. Spain, unless like it's either you I don't want to say destroy your legacy at Real Madrid, but if you go to Barca,
Yeah.
like fans are not going to forgive you, or
Right.
it won't be as easy. So unless you go back to Real Madrid, which I don't like, Benzema is just like different level. You know, Vinny's doing amazing.
Yeah, Real Madrid, he wouldn't. I don't think he'd be able to fit back in with the players that they have right now.
Like the way they're playing, Benzema
Yeah.
played last year. Why would you like that?
Yeah.
Just Italy, unless you go to some of the top teams. Like I don't know. I just don't see it. Unless you're going to Chelsea, that's the only option where I see that's better than PSG. You go to PSG, you go to France, you win the league, automatic. Like you play with Messi, everybody in the world is gonna be tuning in to watch PSG play. Ronaldo and Messi. I know they're older,
But here's the thing, though. There's a lot of big names already there.
yeah,
Mbappe decided to stay. See, if Mbappe would have left and if Mbappe would have gone to Real Madrid, maybe that does
Yeah.
open up a spot for Ronaldo because they would have still found a replacement for Mbappe. They would have still tried to
Mhm.
get somebody
yeah,
good, but it makes it easier because it makes it easier. But now that he's staying, it makes it more difficult for Ronaldo because you can't bench Mbappe. He's not
Yeah.
like one of those players where you can kind of give half and half playing time to.
but play Mbappe a little bit wider.
Okay, and you put
Ronaldo in the middle and Messi on the other side. Neymar, there are rumors Newcastle out of all
So-
teams, but
you put Neymar on the wing and then you put Messi underneath.
or that.
Put Messi as the 10,
There you go.
and then you have Messi.
Then you have
Ronaldo
4
in
players
front.
who don't play defense
Listen,
at all.
If the PSG directors hear you talking about this, Georgie, they're gonna sign him right now. Looking
Listen,
at that lineup,
if you're Ronaldo, what would you do? Manchester United, Chelsea, or PSG?
I would go PSG because here's the thing: if PSG would get Ronaldo, and I haven't heard any rumors about
No,
PSG at all,
Yeah,
but you never know with these things. They could swoop in
Yeah.
tomorrow, and then all of a sudden Ronaldo signing for PSG, and their agents could already be
Yeah.
his agent could already be talking to them. Who knows? But if they were to get Ronaldo, that would be probably the craziest transfer market or transfer in all time, just because they already have Messi.
yeah.
They got Mbappe, who's another top player in the world. If Neymar was to stay, you cannot give them a single excuse for why they cannot win the Champions League. And that's the thing. We saw this with for some of the older heads listening to this, but we saw this with the Galacticos back in the day, where you could have all the best, literally the best players in the entire world, all playing on the same team, and they still don't win.
Yeah.
Which that's what happens because you have too many big names, too many big time Charlies in the same locker room. But just from a fan perspective of wanting to,
I'll be watching every single PSG game, and I do not watch any PSG in France. I don't even know what channel they play on.
there has never been another time in history, and there hasn't at all, and I'm not saying there will be, but there hasn't been a time in history where the two best players in potentially the history of football played on the same team.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been a battle between Messi and Ronaldo, like there has been between Messi and Ronaldo. There hasn't been another battle like that in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say Maradona and Pele, but
Uh,
that was their times. They didn't even overlap, did they?
no. I mean, even Pele just like stayed.
That was before my time, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched highlights of them both, but
yeah. I mean, Maradona did it. I mean, World Cups is the only time you would
Yeah.
say, okay, maybe like you can kind of compare, but
there's never been a battle like that
No.
between two players at the same time for so long. Like
Yeah.
these guys have been going at it, and to see them on the same team,
So
everybody would be tuning in.
Messi went to PSG. Let's be honest, to win the Champions League. Like that's the main reason. Like they don't need Messi to win the French league.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He didn't win it. Ronaldo goes there, they win. Ronaldo makes a claim.
Yeah, but then it just depends on how much involvement Ronaldo had. Because if Messi's still on the field, then they might say, well, yeah, it was also Messi, though. If Messi scores all the goals or a lot more goals. I don't know. I would like to see it. And I think maybe deep down, both of them would like to see it as
I
well.
think so. As much
Because
as
they've
like,
never disrespected each other.
No.
They've always talked about how much how much better it's made each of them because of the competition. That would just be crazy. And I don't think it's going to happen. And I think
I don't think it's gonna happen either.
Financially, that's the one team that can do it, though.
Yeah.
Financially, that's like the one team in the world, even more so than Manchester City, who can do it.
Yeah. Somehow.
So I think that would be, yeah.
That would be insane.
I say you do that. You give them 2 or 3 years together, and then after that, they both go to the MLS and they play in different teams in the MLS, but end their careers. But that would be an amazing end to both of their legacies, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that would be a perfect ending. I think by playing together, like everybody will be watching the French league, and nobody's watching the French league right now.
Yeah.
People watch PSG in the Champions League. That's
ESPN, NBC, those guys are gonna have to find out a way to get the French league on because
just because of that.
Yeah, because of that, the amount of
That'd
people
be
that would be
insane.
watching. That'd be weird. That'd be weird to watch because then you got Ramos as well.
Yeah.
Imagine Sergio Ramos there with Ronaldo. It just it would be. I think it would be great to see, but I don't think it's gonna happen. It'll break the internet if it happens though.
Yeah, that would be
It'll break the internet.
Imagine Fabrizio just tweets right now, and PSG enter talks of Cristiano Ronaldo. But I think if I know we talked about how his legacy in Manchester United, he would feel bad, but if you're thinking about yourself, obviously PSG is an obvious where you can win the French league. You add another trophy to your cabinet, another country where you're going to dominate.
You have potential to win the Champions League again.
But if you win that Champions League with PSG, who have spent so much money trying to win the Champions League, that's a legacy in its own. So it's not like he's going there just for nothing.
But here's the thing. Is he a player right now capable of getting them to win the Champions League? Because they're very close. So it's not like they need a huge player. It's not like they need like 2 or 3 more players. They just need a little bit of a push, really, is all they need. Would he still be good enough to give them that?
Yeah. He's missed the Champions League.
But now,
so like he's gonna score the goals. But I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily PSG's problem scoring goals, because I think they can do pretty damn well with who they got. I just think they need to figure out defensively more in the midfield how to have 3 or 4 players who do not track back at all, don't care about playing defense at all, how to figure that situation out. But you add Ronaldo to being a straight number 9 in there.
I think what he would bring to them would be the experience of being in the Champions League. And that's, I think, the main reason why they lost to Real Madrid. Is not because they weren't as good as Real Madrid, but Real Madrid is just so calm in the Champions League that they've been there so many times and they understand how it all works. And I think PSG maybe got a little too excited, and the next thing you know, their Champions League run is over when they thought they were going to continue. And
they spent so much money. But now Mbappe is like part director or whatever, has so much power. So Mbappe's favorite player is Ronaldo. So I don't know, But if you're Mbappe,
would want to play with him. He has posters all over his room when he was younger.
I don't know.
But the problem becomes then is imagine how tough it's going to be for the new manager. Who first of all is not a big name.
No,
let's say that.
And
that's going to be difficult for him to try. How do you motivate players like that when, first of all, they've won everything, they've done everything that they possibly could? Yeah. How do you motivate players like that? Especially when you aren't as well known as them. Like you can think of 2 or 3 managers in the world who could have like the upper hand on Messi and Ronaldo, who could still be a little bit more of an authority figure. Yeah. Because it's crazy when you go into a club like that as a player who's got such a big name, where you know that the club will actually pick you over the manager. If anything was to go wrong, they'll pick you over the manager. So it's difficult because, like you said, their problem is defensively they're not the greatest team because they have 4 or 5 guys who don't want to track back because they're such good players in the attack and such big names. So how do you motivate and how do you push someone like that doesn't want to do it, doesn't need to do it, doesn't care to do it?
To be honest, if you over the past year at Manchester United, I was pretty surprised that Ronaldo's like running back a little bit. Obviously, he's not.
Well, he's just got the professional mindset of like
he will lose the ball trying to dribble one or two guys and they're sprint back tackle, slide tackle. I'm like, wait, what? Ronaldo they're going to tackles, but if Zidane was, if they hired Zidane at PSG, I would be like, I can see all this happen.
That's what I was going to say as well, is that the only coach that I think could be able to manage all those personalities is Zinedine Zidane.
Yeah.
But he's waiting for the France job probably. That's what I think, at least.
Yeah,
That's why he's been so calm, and that's why he's been so relaxed, and he hasn't been.
He's gonna get a
itching to
big
get
job somewhere.
I think the French national team job would be the job that he probably wants the most. But if you talk to him and you said, look, we're gonna bring Ronaldo and we're gonna bring Messi. Well, they already hired a new coach, so that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I'm just saying, in fantasy world, if you talk to Zinedine Zidane and you said, these are the guys that we're gonna have on our team and we're trying to win the Champions League, you have the experience of doing it, and you have the personality and the history as a player to be one of the few people in the world to be able to manage all these personalities. I think that's the only way it would really work out.
An unlimited paycheck that you can spend on to figure out
I'll give him a
defensively.
blank napkin.
Yeah. What do you
write
want?
the number.
You write the number.
You write
Whatever
the
you
number.
want. This is it.
Yeah. So, but that's something to see in the next, because we'll see in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Probably next couple of days we'll get a better idea, but I think next couple of weeks probably we'll see what Ronaldo's really wanting to do.
Yeah. And there's another debate, which I thought this was crazy. Somebody said, I don't know what show it was, Sky Sports or Talk Sport, I don't know. They were debating where if Ronaldo did go to Chelsea, would he even start? One of the analysts said Kai Havertz would start over Ronaldo at Chelsea.
But that's the thing, though, is
Kai Havertz.
That's one of the biggest factors in bringing in a player like Ronaldo, is you know that he has to play.
Yeah.
You can't bring him in just because he's a big name and then put him on the bench.
It would make no
You have
sense.
to play him.
Like, why would you even go through all that trouble to bring in Ronaldo to sit him on the bench?
Chelsea, I guarantee you, when they're thinking about Ronaldo, they went on the whiteboard, they wrote up all the names on their ideal starting lineup, they put all their best substitutes, and then they said, okay, does Ronaldo fit into this? And if they're going to want him and they're going to pursue him, it's because his name is going to be first in whatever spot that they're going to put him in. Not like, oh, we're going to have Ronaldo as a backup to Kai Havertz.
Yeah, it's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. So if Ronaldo does go to Chelsea, does that make them contenders for the Premier League?
No.
Still no.
No. Because I just don't. I think they have good enough players, maybe not as big names, but they have good enough players to where, I don't think substituting one of those guys out for Ronaldo is going to make them that much better.
Well, they lost Lukaku, so then who's gonna, like, Havertz is gonna have to play the 9 or Timo Werner.
Timo Werner probably. I mean, they could, but I don't think he fits. I don't think he fits into the philosophy of Tuchel.
Yeah.
And I don't think he. Yeah, I don't think. Not that he wouldn't want him on the team, but I don't know. It's hard, man. Ronaldo's.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like you said, maybe Real Madrid would be a team that he would want to go back to, and he would be willing to work harder at Real Madrid, where he knows that there's players out there that on the team that he can't just bench, that they just can't bench for him. That he's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna have to actually work hard here if I want to be a starter. Chelsea potentially, but PSG, and if not, MLS. Just do it, man. Just go to the MLS.
I don't want him to go to the MLS.
I don't want him to go to the MLS.
Not yet. Maybe in like 2 years or whatever.
I would say two or three more years.
I mean,
go to the MLS.
He's 37 right now, right? Like 37. He meant 39 coming to MLS and winning.
Luka Modric. He's
Yeah.
37, isn't he?
36,
36,
yeah.
37.
What a baller.
And nobody's saying anything about him being anywhere less than being in his top form. Times have changed, man.
Ronaldo's still getting 15 goals a year.
Times have changed. Sports science has improved.
Yeah.
It gets better and better every single year. And now, when 10 years ago, you would say that by 34, you're done. Now you got players at 37, 36, 37 who are still playing at the top level.
Zlatan, what is he, 40?
Yeah, Zlatan's got to be like 45 at this point. And they're still extending his contract.
That's good. And he had a serious knee injury.
Yep.
Guy's unbelievable. Yeah,
that's the times are changing, which is a good thing, because I remember when I was in college, which was almost 10 years ago now. I remember my instructor telling me, we were talking about football players, NFL players, and we were talking about one of the guys getting tearing his ACL.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking, and my instructor, who I did physical education, and we were in a kinesiology class, and he said, he's like, yeah, he's not coming back anymore. Once you tear your ACL, you're pretty much done. You're done. There's no chance.
Yeah.
He's like, even if you were to come back, you're not going to be anywhere near. And now you got ACLs are just like a normal injury.
Yeah.
Okay, you're out for
a year or whatever.
You're out for a year, 6 to 9, like 9 to 12 months, and then you'll be back, no problem.
Yeah.
And then Zlatan's out here training after 5-6 months.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's I don't know what they're giving those guys, but times have changed.
Yeah, man. I mean, good for the sport. You know, you get to see all the favorite players, all the legends keep on playing, and
the thing is, you also have people who are pushing the boundaries, like Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Who are physically pushing the boundaries of what can be done and what you can do with your body. And that's not, I mean, it's sports science and it's injury prevention and it's all the doctors and all the teams that he's had, but it's his personal philosophy on life of this, how I'm going to treat my body, and it's going to last me a lot longer than people think your body can last.
Yeah, I mean, his wife has a documentary on Netflix, and we were watching it like the other day, and Ronaldo like came on there, and he's like, I barely see like my wife, like I have a routine, and then whenever in just the off season, that's when I can finally just let go for a little bit and like enjoy time with my family, and that's the only time I have it. During the season, it's all like focus. It's like you don't even see your wife. Like that's great. Like the dedication that you gotta.
Yeah, you gotta have.
I mean, it just depends of who you are, you know. Like
speaking of that, Georgie just said we were watching that, and
yeah.
He was referring to his girlfriend, who is still his girlfriend.
Still, yeah.
Episode 3, she's still his girlfriend. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you go into the comment section and give George a big congratulations for that.
I made it 3 episodes.
Episode 3. We'll keep you updated on episode 4 and 5 if that's going to change.
Who knows? Who knows? I might get a text right now. I don't even know at this point.
But yeah, I mean, that was a big topic was about Ronaldo. But he'll figure it out in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
but if he goes to PSG, you and me are throwing a party, Georgie.
We're I don't know what
the internet's gonna break. It'll go crazy.
Yeah, it will be the craziest thing ever. Yeah. Like we're gonna have to go like a live show or something and just talk with everyone, because it's gonna be insane.
All right, so let's move on from that. We got pretty much we've done pretty much a lot of these transfers last week, and we kind of gave updates, but most of them are just kind of finalizing now. Yeah, we talked about Rafinha, still figuring that one out, but that one's been a topic. Sterling, Calvin Phillips we talked about, who's already official. Gabriel Jesus, who we talked about. Langley, who we talked about for Tottenham. Yeah. Your boy Divock Origi going to Milan.
Liverpool legend.
That wasn't that great. Relax,
man.
He was a great guy. I'm sure he was one of those guys that was great to have in the locker room, and he came in clutch a few games.
But Barcelona, the comeback, 2 goals.
But would you ever put that guy as the reason you don't keep him around is because you know that he's always going to be just that guy who might come off the bench for you and might do something.
Well, he was just the clutch guy.
Yeah, but he wasn't always the clutch guy.
Everton off the post, Van Dijk mishits it, walks back, pissed off that he kicked the shot, hits the post, whatever, bounces twice, heads it in. That was the moment where Origi became a legend.
Oh yeah, Jesse Lingard going to the MLS, or not going to the MLS. Sorry, he traveled to the United States to listen to clubs. Basically, their sales pitch on getting him.
It's a terrible move for him. Good for the MLS.
Again, we talked about that last time. Is another good move for the MLS if they can get him.
If they can get Jesse Lingard, he's still.
Well, I think the thing about Jesse is that he's coming to the MLS at what is still probably the top of his career.
Yeah.
So, again, he's not coming here to listen to what they're having to say just because he's like, oh, I'm going to go and retire and I'm going to go play golf like Gareth Bale probably. But he's actually thinking he's thinking about the MLS as an honest option, as a good option.
I mean,
you think he should stay in Europe?
I think he should just stay in Europe. I think it would be a great move for the MLS if you can get a quality player at the right age, getting into the prime or best years of his career. But for him as a player, if he wants to have any ambition in getting into the England squad ever again, he's not. Like Southgate is not going to look at
anyone
Lingard.
in the MLS. Yeah.
So if it just depends. Obviously, if You come here, you're gonna play every game. Probably a better lifestyle for you, your family, better weather depending where you're gonna go. But like we say, he's either gonna go to L.A., Miami, or New York. Like those are the three. He's not gonna go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't make sense for
Yeah.
him to go elsewhere. So I would say go to West Ham. The fans loved you. You played there already. You did amazing. Scored goals, got assists, got back into the England squad. Like I just don't see why you don't go back.
And that's to me again. It's interesting, like you said that because him going back to the national team, the potential of him going back to the national team, right now is a very crucial time
Yeah.
in whether the managers for the national teams are going to take these players. So if he ends up going to the MLS soon and he's playing for the MLS, there's going to be very little potential of him actually going back to the World Cup and playing with the national team.
Zero.
So from that perspective of saying, okay, the World Cup, it's different if the World Cup had just passed and you're like, okay, I'll go to the MLS for a year and then I'll see if I can come back to Europe.
Mhm.
And then 3 years or whatever, it gives me a good opportunity to get back onto the national team for the next World Cup.
Yeah.
But he's like in the most crucial time, right before the World Cup, he's
Yeah.
like, I might go to the MLS.
And it's okay. And I'm not saying like Southgate is like, all right, we need Lingard on the team, but if Lingard can get back to the level he was playing when he was at West Ham on that loan spell, he'll be considered to be on the team. Like he did amazing during those.
He would have made the original list probably.
Yeah.
And then from there during camp,
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah, you never know. But at least he'll be considered. Right now, you go to MLS, you're not gonna even get a look. It's pretty much.
Speaking of the World Cup, it's going to be weird this year for sure, or this time around.
Yeah, being in the winter, I don't know how teams are going to do it. I don't know how the leagues are going to do it. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I don't know.
First of all, the rules and the laws there are going to be something different for anybody
Yeah.
who's traveling. And anybody who's been to World Cup before in a different country is going to be very different, the experience.
Completely different.
The heat, I'm wondering how they're going to try and figure that out. Because I understand they have the heat in this, or the AC in the stadiums.
Mhm.
And I've seen the pictures of the stadiums with like the whole first row is basically just a bunch of fans.
Yeah.
But what about just the thing is, one of the biggest pieces of the World Cup, if you're actually going, is the atmosphere in the actual country
Mhm.
when the World Cup is happening. Not necessarily just in the stadium, but in the streets.
Yeah.
So how are they going to do that when they have a bunch of people, a bunch of crazy, football fans running around? Is it going to be the same?
They're not going to.
How
Yeah, I
are
don't
they
know.
gonna do that
They
with the
just
heat?
have so many rules that
Yeah.
I don't know how, if you are a fan that's been or watched people at the World Cup, how they act and how they celebrate, how they party.
Right.
That's not going to happen in Qatar.
How you expect that
Like-
to go?
It's going to be people just walking into the stadium silent. And that's not, I'm not going to, like, it wouldn't be enjoyable when you don't see the whole party atmosphere and the whole,
Right.
the fun aspect of it all. And
And for people watching, the winter time is just a weird time, man.
yeah,
Because there's no break like there is in the summer. In the summer, the kids get a break from school, so you can go to your friend's house, you can watch the games, and then afterwards, I remember when I was younger watching the World Cups, I'd watch all 3 games because there's typically about 3 games, especially
Yeah.
in the group stages, 3 games a day. I'd watch all 3 games, and then I'd go to the park and play soccer because I was
Yeah.
so excited to play.
hmm
And it's gonna be a little bit weird because you're gonna be in school,
yeah.
games are gonna be going on. The times for the games, what times are the games gonna be?
I don't even know. That's a good
gonna
question.
be weird.
That's in the middle of the night, maybe? I don't even know.
I'm sure they're going to try and push them to a time over there where here it's not
Yeah.
like 2-3 in the morning every single game because that's going to be weird. But at the same time, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But again, for as far as the transfers go, it's a very important time for a lot of these players because they need to make the smartest decision so that they can get back to their World Cup teams or get a chance to be
Yeah.
on the World Cup squad.
And it's not like it's in the summer where you have a year. You have like literally 3 months to prove yourself.
Yep.
And like to be in top form going into the World Cup. So that's gonna be interesting. But I hibernate in the wintertime. I don't go out. So
So you're just going to be watching.
So
the
I'm just
games.
gonna be watching the World Cup. So I mean
It's going to throw off the Premier League. It's going to throw off all the other big leagues
all the
as
leagues.
well.
Yeah, that's gonna be very interesting how they go about it because it wouldn't be fair if one player from a top team, one of the best players, goes to the World Cup final, and then the other players come back to the league and they play, but the teams are without their stars. It's like
Yeah, and what's happened in the past before is typically the players who get out early, group stages or early in the knockout stages, they'll get a little bit of a break and then they'll go back to their
Yeah.
team. The players who make it all the way to the final typically get an extended vacation because
Mhm.
the clubs grant them that. But you're going right back into the middle of a season
yeah,
where,
it's like a crucial part.
especially for teams like Liverpool and Manchester City, where dropping any type of any
Yeah.
kind of points at all is going to be detrimental to them actually trying to win
Mhm.
the Premier League. So I don't know. It's going to be weird if some of your best players, which is going to be your best
Yeah.
players who are making it all the way
Mhm.
that far, if your best players are taking extended vacations, which they definitely probably need
Yeah.
after a World Cup.
So that's why
easy.
Manchester City buy all the English players because they know they're gonna drop out quick.
Yep.
Wow, Pep is
Smart
so
move.
smart.
Smart move. He's already thinking ahead.
Wow.
He's thinking ahead of everyone else.
So the World Cup is what, 1 month? Is
Yeah.
that it?
It's 1 month.
So it starts November 20th, ends December 20th.
Somewhere around December 20th. It's not exactly always on that date, but
Yeah.
it's typically 30 days of games.
So when you typically think about the English Premier League, you hit December 20th up until mid-January. You play like 8-9 games. You play 5 games literally from December 20th until January 2nd. And all the coaches, managers, players, that's all they literally complain
Well,
about.
when's the winter break? Because
I
they have
think
like
it's in
2
February.
weeks or whatever.
Yeah, that's in like late
Okay.
January or February.
I was thinking if they were gonna try and work that into how
Yeah.
they manage to get the players back and what time they get the players back. But it's gonna be awkward. It's
Yeah,
gonna be weird. It's
I mean, I'm sure it's already out.
I'm not a fan of it either though.
Yeah, I mean, summertime,
World Cup has to be in the summer. It's the best time to have a World Cup.
But
the atmosphere is not the same if I am watching games when there's snow
it's gonna throw all the vibe.
outside of my window, it's gonna be really weird.
So you're saying we're going on a trip?
Yep.
Somewhere warm towards the
Going
World
to Miami or LA to watch
For
the
a
World
month.
Cup.
Cup. I mean, why
But
not?
yeah, we'll see. Speaking of the World Cup, we'll do a lot more content during the World Cup. That's what we're really excited about. Not just the World Cup, but like Premier League and all those leagues, because we can actually do game analysis, tactical analysis. We can see how the players are doing and whether the transfer window worked out for them or not.
Yeah,
Um,
it's gonna be a lot of fun when the season actually starts up and they start having games once a week, twice a week, and we kind of talk about the games, the players,
Yeah.
and everything. Right now, it's just transfers. That's all we can really
Yeah.
talk about.
So right now we're just doing one episode a week, just trying to get into the habit of things, getting into the flow. The setup this episode was a lot faster than the first episode,
Mhm.
but when the games start happening, Georgie and I will probably sit down and watch some of the games, and then talk about all the games that happened over the weekend or whatever,
Mhm.
and then maybe we'll do a couple more episodes then because there's a lot more going on at those times. But for now, I think one episode a week is good. If you guys want to follow us again, make sure you go to Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at the NGW Podcast. And once we get into the flow of things, we'll start trying to put a lot more content out on there as
Yeah.
well. Little bite-sized clips of the podcast. And as always, the podcast will live on my channel. That's where we'll upload the full episodes.
Comment anything you guys want to see. Any thoughts you might have about what we talked about, or what you guys want us to talk about in the future, or if you have any ideas about how we can make the podcast better.
Yeah, that's a big one.
we'll
Even
see.
how do we improve the podcast? Because this is our first real podcast, and
Yeah.
I know there's probably a lot of you guys are, if you're listening to this because you like to listen to other podcasts as well. So let us know what are some things that we can do to make it a little bit better, more entertaining maybe, or just things that you wanna listen to us talk about.
Yeah.
All right, Georgie, appreciate it. See you
Yeah.
in the next one.
See you in the next one.